What's up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to Mana Rant episode 17, the Historic Podcast. We specialize in everything historic with a little splash of Commander as well. We are the Mana Dorks. My name is Michael Apollo, and as always, I am joined by Hoshi.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And DrunkenDork.
What's up, everybody?
So the way our show works is we actually follow the phases of Magic. So we have our Untap, Upkeep, Draw main phase, Combat main phase 2, End Step, Cleanup, and finally our Discard. And every time it's passed on to your turn, you always start every turn of Magic with our Untap step. And that's where we open up a drink of our choice and talk shortly about what we're drinking tonight.
Sweet.
So, let's untap her up.
Oh, yeah.
A little splash zone on that one. I'm drinking a local brew from it's from Flagstaff, I believe. It's Mother Road Brewing, Tower Station, and as always, if you have not figured out by now, it's an IPA. It seems like it'd be pretty crisp and citrusy, my kind of thing. So, Hoshi, what are you drinking this week?
So I don't have access to my bar right now because I'm over at my girlfriend's house because I'm moving. So she stocks her bar with some Glenfiddich, which is a 12-year blended Scotch whiskey, which is like my favorite Scotch company, and this is like their standard Scotch. So this is a standard good drinking Scotch.
Seems like your girlfriend has the same kind of arsenal that you do at your place, or your old place.
She's a little bit behind, my status. My I got like the levels, where it's like the bottles are on the bottom, and then I got the top shelf ones, so that it looks like I'm not an alcoholic, like I'm an actual connoisseur. If you have them stacked on different levels, they're like, oh, he's a collector. I'm like, yeah.
I don't know. You said a couple times, and I don't know anything about that.
That's because you're clearly not a collector.
Clearly not.
All right, Drunken, what are you drinking this week?
This week, like almost every week, I am drinking yet another porter, or stout or porter generally, and I got my nice fancy monogrammed cup here like that. Ooh. And the porter is, I think I've said this one before, it's Coco Jones. It's like one of my favorites. Last week I had my favorite beer. This is like my second favorite beer.
Nice. Yeah, love it. All right, boys, well, let's cheers it up.
Cheers.
That's our Untap step. And now we're going to go into our Upkeep. We're going to change things up a little bit different this week. For everyone that's tuning in, listening in, and watching on YouTube, we're trying to figure out like a good mix of information that's funny, relevant, comedic, change things up so that way, it's all entertainment for you guys. You got to bring the best content that's available. So I'm actually going to turn it over to Hoshi because we're going to try something new, and I think this might be what we're going to do going forward. So Hoshi, take it away with our Upkeep.
All right, guys. So this is Reddit Rant. This is where I scour the internet looking for insane people talking about Magic on Reddit. Last week, I couldn't really find anyone great, but I got a beaut this week. So this is in one of the historic chat rooms. And this guy, the title of the post is Answers in All Colors to Nissa, Who Ends the Game. So this is 10 days ago. This isn't an old post when it was in standard or anything. This is still in historic. This guy is losing his mind over Nissa. He wants an answer to Nissa in every single color. So he says, I don't want to play this card in this stupid card in my deck. I know the best counter to Nissa Who Ends the Game is another Nissa. It seems like whenever this balanced and fair card resolves, there's just no card I can play to deal with her. I can't deal with the impossible to stop mana doubling, land untapping, vigilance creature granting, difficult to target land creatures, making innovative and flavorful gameplay. And so this thing goes on and on and on, and I love every line of it because he's like, oh yeah, you think you're gonna stop it with noxious grass? Nice try. Not gonna work, dude. And it's just like he comes up with all these scenarios of he's like, oh yeah, you think that's gonna work? That's pretty cute, guy. Not happening.
The sarcasm is real.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so. This guy. What I love about this is how often do you really run into Nissa in historic? I'd say it's like sporadic. You know, Nissa who shakes. Yeah, it's pretty
going.
decent. Right?
Yeah, I run into it all the time.
Yeah, it's a very good card, right? It was probably ban worthy when it was in standard, I'd say. But in historic, I mean, what I love about this guy, he's sitting there and he's playing the historic ladder, and he just got one of those wacky days where the matchmaking on Arena was just like, 20 Nissa decks in a row you're going against, you know, and he's just getting slaughtered by him, and he's just like bashing his keyboard, and he's like, to Reddit. And I love it. So what do you guys think about this post? You guys both got to read it. Apollo, what are your thoughts?
I find it very hilarious, like his like level of sarcasm and like his witty banter it's really funny. It's borderline genius, like of how, I mean, he goes through like Mystical Dispute, Noxious Grass, Gideon's Intervention, Atomic.
Oh yeah,
he just goes to very specific cards. But you know, on the flip side, I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind Nissa at all. I play Nissa in Sultai mid range or wherever it's relevant in big ramp decks. And I also defeat Nissa, you know, I wouldn't say fairly easy. Like, if you have God Hands, you have God Hands, right? Like, Mono Red has God Hands, and there's nothing you can do, right? Like, yeah, I'm taking 12 right now, turn 3.
Yeah,
cool.
Oh, that's
like,
fair. Muxus just shit out, like, 12 goblins onto the field. Awesome. On turn 3.
Every historic deck, this is a turn 4 format, so like you're going to see turn 3 or turn 4 Nissas, right? And you're going to see that in other decks as well. So I mean, I find it very funny. It's a very funny comedic post. I like it. I don't know. I mean, the answers in all colors. like the title is hilarious. Answers in all colors to Nissa who ends the game. The title is very flavorful. I love it. But I definitely don't agree, though. I mean, I love Nissa, and I don't think she's that powerful as she was in Standard, if that makes sense. Like, I think she's very balanced in Historic. Definitely in competitive. But, I mean, if you're playing, like, high competitive Diamond and Mythic, I mean, you can't bring your pet deck to the table, right? Like, you got to be playing some form of competitive hate as well. So, yeah, that's what I think.
Nice. DrunkenDork, what do you think?
So, yeah, I think this person is fucking hilarious. I think, you know, this is all just fucking, like, troll, right? Like, he's just trolling the internet, but it's
is
funny,
he?
you know?
I don't know.
Yeah, he totally is. This isn't real. Like, I think he's just, like, probably played a few games that got frustrated, and, like, he, like, laughed at himself because, like, you know, this is just a ridiculous post. Like, he says, or they say, Tomek, distinguished advocate, nice try. or Gideon's intervention, actually laughable. What was the other one I saw? Dampening Sphere or Nahiri's Binding, laugh out loud, no. So, like, I mean, he's obviously just, like, fucking around, and I love it, dude. I need to actually follow this guy. What's his name? We need to shout him out.
It's Leaf the Explorer.
Leaf, and it's spelled Leif. So, Leaf _ Explorer. And, if you haven't seen this post yet, you should. It's on the r/historic MTG Reddit. Funny guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hilarious for sure.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of ways to defeat Nissa. Nissa Who Shakes the World's a incredibly strong card. And I mean, we all know that, but it's also a 5-drop, and so in Historic, it's, you know, it's just one of the other strong cards in there. I don't think it's unbeatable, but I think this guy actually did go against some Nissas and probably got his ass handed to him. And,
I mean, who hasn't though, right? Like,
for sure.
If a Nissa drops, he's not wrong. Like, or they're not wrong. If Anissa drops, I pretty much concede unless I have an answer for it right there, because then it just gets out of control immediately.
Yeah. That card alone could win the game for you.
Yeah.
Not only that, like when you finally do deal with one, the most like disheartening feeling is when they're just like, cast another Nissa. You're like, no, I just got rid of that stupid card. You got another one? Of course. Anyways, so yeah, that was the Reddit rant of this week. Leaf the Explorer, you are one insane person, and I love you. All right. So that was it for our Untap.
Yeah, so that is the Reddit rant. So now after our upkeep, we go into our draw phase. And this is where we just really quick talk about what, not what formats we've been playing this week, but maybe what have we been doing in Arena this week. I'm assuming we're all playing Historic, but I'll turn it over to DrunkenDork. What have you been doing this week in Magic?
So in Magic this week, I actually got to play a few Commander games on Spell Table. Fucking love it. It's great. Got to play some Jumpstart with my wife. Love that shit. It's great. And then in Historic, I have been going to Pound Town with fucking Gruul aggro, and it is so good, man. That deck is fucking dope. It's really strong.
Super powerful.
I really like it. I haven't really moved anywhere in Platinum. I keep going up and then keep going back down. It's like one of those situations. So I'm hoping that I can pull out a couple wins. Anyway, but yeah, the deck has been really good. So yeah, I just been doing that mostly.
Nice. Yeah. Hoshi, how about you? What have you been doing in Magic this week?
Well, I've been doing absolutely nothing because I changed houses. I finally closed on my house, so I did play a little bit of the Paradox engine with like some elves, where you're just untapping and gaining a bunch of mana, and then you play Aetherflux Reservoir and just like deal 50 damage to him from gaining all the life from playing like 1,000 spells in a row and drawing all these cards and stuff. And it's wacky and ridiculous. It's not very consistent, but when you pull it off, man, it's fun. But you're also exhausted afterwards. You're like, man, that was like 10 minutes of me like just jerking myself off in front of this other person before I finally killed them. And it feels disgusting and awesome at the same time. So pretty fun. I mean, yeah, I wish I got to get more into Kaladesh this week, because it looks like it's just unlocked so much ridiculous magic nonsense, which looks just great and fun.
Yeah.
Dude, Dexter baiting in Magic is a fun thing to do.
Agreed.
It is.
And also I want to say congrats to Hoshi for closing on his house.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. It only took like 6 months, so pretty quick.
I bought a house within the time that and moved in and everything within the time you did. Like, you found your house and closed on it, and I did that all within that time.
Yeah. I'm super special.
Yeah. Fucking Florida, man.
Yeah.
I mean, only like 10 hurricanes hit it. So,
yeah, that's all.
That's it. As for myself, I have been playing some heavy competitive. I was on a high. A roller coaster high. I was destroying Platinum with Teamer Marvel. So much so that, it got me to Diamond. Pretty stoked on that. And I am also like a roller coaster. When you go up, you gotta go down. I cannot get one fucking win in Diamond. It's like it's just God hands, or I'm just dumb, and I because I'm just playing like consistent turn 3, turn 4 win decks, and you cannot make like one single mistake. So I quickly like put Teamer Marvel aside. A really powerful deck, I will say, but I think like when you get into best of 3, I think best of 3 high competitive like Diamond Mythic, it just doesn't work. There's so much hate. There's so much like going on with people just stopping that combo, and I have to do so much more to get rid of the hate and then go back to my plan that I'm trying to do, and then they can just counter whatever I cast off top. So I dropped that. I tried some other historic decks. Right now, I'm sticking back to Gruul. From like my testing, it seems like Gruul's just like where I like to be. But God damn, man, like the mono red deck, that Spellslinger deck, that is a powerful deck,
Yeah, it
man.
is.
Chandra is a powerful planeswalker for sure.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that is our draw phase, and going into that, we're going to go into our main phase 1. Kind of flipping it around, when you get into more competitive, you use a lot of rares. And usually we talk about a lot of competitive decks or decks that we like to see, strategies. This week we're going to talk about budget decks. I believe all of our budget decks are best of 1. I just want to preface this right away. If you want to do a budget deck, in my opinion, if you want to do a budget deck for best of 3, I suggest you take your favorite standard deck and then kind of tune it that way as you try to accumulate rares or whatever for your historic deck of choice. I don't recommend doing a budget deck and making it best of 3, if that makes any sense. I think the format's just too powerful. But, best of 1, if you want to have some fun, you want to take it on the play, I think these decks can work. So I'm going to turn it over to DrunkenDork. He's going to go ahead and tell us what's his deck of choice this week.
Okay, so my deck of choice, which is actually it's pretty close to one of the top decks in Arena. Like if you were to look at the top decks on what is that thing we use, the MTG Arena Helper or whatever? Assistant.
Assistant, yeah.
So if you were to look on Assistant, or even if you were to look on probably MTG Goldfish, you'd see the blue-white enchantments deck. And basically that's what this deck is, but it is a incredibly budgeted down version of that deck. In the fact that it only has 4 rare cards, and it's actually a mono white deck. So it basically only runs 1 and 2 drops, for the sake of if you want to use Lurrus, like if you had an extra rare card, so that would make it a total of 5 rare cards as a companion, like you could. Like that's the point of this deck, and it's just hyper aggro and efficient. So you have things like Ornithopter, let's see, Alseid of Life's Bounty, Selfless Savior, and then your big draw card is a Core Spirit Dancer. Now those are your only creatures in the deck. Everything else they're all enchantments, and then there's 1 instant that just protects your creatures that, well, they have to be enchanted. So I mean the point of the deck is get your 0 drops out, get your Ornithopters out, get your Core Spirit Dancer out, and then just start dropping these 1 and 2 drop enchantments on them, and they get out of control incredibly quick. It really is an incredibly powerful deck, and I don't think it'll just get you to gold. I do think that these decks, if you play in best of 1, they can, I play it in Platinum, and I can win games in Platinum, so it can get you all the way to Mythic. I think it's just a matter of how much you want to play. It does a lot better on the play, like most decks. So that is more what you want when you're playing it. But yeah, I posted this up in the notes. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at it. I mean, I know you've seen this or similar things to this already. So
yeah, no, I'm looking at your deck right now. Digging it.
Yeah, the only thing that's not here is the fucking companion, but yeah, this is a more budgeted version. The only rare card is a Core Spirit Dancer, and there's only 4 of them. So this is an incredibly affordable deck. If you were to open an account with any of our decks, if you were to open an account on MTG Arena and get through the tutorial, you can make any one of our decks right away.
Yeah, definitely.
So all the decks will be posted in our description below. I think because of time, we're not going to discuss too much on what we would do to upgrade. But for everyone out there, we also will upload our competitive side of the deck. So you'll see our budget-friendly version, and then right under, it'll be DrunkenDork, and it'll have his budget-friendly version, and then his competitive version, and then so on and so forth as we work our way down. So with that being said, let's turn it over to Hoshi. What is your budget deck of choice words for this week?
All right, so my budget deck is one that I've played with quite a bit, and it's actually what I set my girlfriend up with when she started playing Arena, and she had great results with it. It's Azorius Flyers. It's not like anything crazy that anyone hasn't seen before, but it's a very powerful deck. And actually, the one that I'm using right now. It doesn't have a single rare in the actual like creatures or spells or anything like that. It's all commons and uncommons there. The 4 rares that I chose to put in this deck were the lands actually, which were the Hollowed Fountains, which is a shock land where you can pay 2 life and then have it come in untapped, and then you can tap for blue and white, which is what Azorius is and what the 2 colors of this deck. And so I think the lands is just the best thing to kind of upgrade for this. Historic has a lot of awesome lands. But the creatures are great. Most of them are 1-drops. They're just little flyers. They don't do a lot. Where this deck really shines is there's 3 cards that really make it fantastic. One of them is Watcher of the Spheres, and it's a flying bird wizard, and he is 1 white and 1 blue to cast for a flying 2/2. And creature spells with flying you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever another creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, Watcher of the Spheres gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. So when you're dumping out all these little flyers onto the field, this guy just keeps getting those +1/+1s every turn, and he's making them cheaper to put on the field. So he is awesome to have in your opening hand. He is really what's going to allow you to just vomit all your flyers onto the field. Next, we have Empyrean Eagle, which is a 3-drop flying bird spirit. It's a 2/3. But other creatures you control with flying get +1/+1. And when you're throwing, so it's an anthem for flyers, basically. And when you're throwing down a bunch of flyers onto this field, this guy just pumps them all up. And he is non-legendary, so you can have 4 of them. Watcher of the Spheres makes him cost 1 less, so he can come down for 2. Great card. And then the other like massive card for this one is Rally of Wings. And this is really what allows you to kill your opponent. Once you've thrown down just a bunch of cards, Rally of Wings untaps all creatures you control, and then creatures you control with flying get +2/+2 until the end of turn. So you untap everything, so then your creatures can also block if you don't finish the person off that turn, and they're probably so low that the next turn they're probably going to die from your attack. So Rally Wings, if you haven't run into it, amazing. I got some card draw with Curious Obsession, which is great. They're all flyers, so you can get in. Get some card draw. Lofty Denial is an amazing counter spell that is 2. It costs so if you have a flyer, if they don't pay 4 mana, it counters their spell. If you don't have a flyer, they have to pay 1 and then they can counter it. But I mean, it's a just amazing counter spell for flyers decks, and it's a common. So there's just a ton of like really good powerful stuff in this deck, and it's just one of those ones where you just churn through these games real quick. You start turn 2, turn 3, you vomited a bunch of things down, and then if you got Rally of Wings, it's an easy turn 4 kill with this deck. So yeah, cool. I like it. I think it's just been a very good proven deck for a very long time, and I think it's great for someone to start off with. Flyers are hard to stop, and it's a good learning deck for Arena, I think.
Absolutely. That's a really great point that actually you made. Learning deck, I think, is the key word for all 3 of the decks that we're showcasing today. They're all very different in how they play. Mm-hmm. And I think like coming in, if you're like a newbie, what can I do to try to like understand Magic, play a deck that's like, I'm not just playing dumb bulk rares or shitty commons and uncommons. Well, these are very approachable ways to do that, to help you understand the mechanics of Magic, and then also have like a pretty powerful deck in best of 1, I would say. Drunken, how do you feel about Azorius Flyers?
Oh, it's sweet. Yeah, I played against it. It did really well. I played it against it a few times actually, and yeah, it's a sweet deck. Absolutely.
As for myself, going with the theme of my favorite tribe, Gruul, Electrostatic Pummeler. So So this is like kind of like a different variation from typical Gruul. Gruul typically wants to control in the elements of like burn spells and then maintain their aggro so that way they're swinging in, hitting hard. This deck does do that, but with like a little combo twist. So the only 4 rares I have in this deck are the card Electrostatic Pummeler, which is a 3-drop 1/1 artifact creature construct. And when Electrostatic Pummeler enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy. Pay 3 energy. Electrostatic Pummeler gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is its power. Okay, so it's a 1/1. What am I trying to do with that? Well, the creatures that the core creatures that I have in here, or I guess like the spells in general, are all trying to generate energy in some way. So I have Attune with Aether, so that way I can maintain my my land drops and then get 2 energy. I also have Blossoming Defense, which I will explain in a little bit here with the +2/+2. Burning Tree Emissary to make sure I keep getting mana and just dumping out a whole bunch of creatures. And creatures that I want to dump out are the Longtusk Cub, Servant of the Conduit, and Voltaic Brawler. All 3 of these creatures give me 2 energy when they enter the battlefield. Longtusk Cub is a 2/2 creature cat, and then when it deals combat damage to a player, you get 2 energy, and I can pay 2 energy to give it a +1/+1 counter. So if we don't have our main plan, then I can use my energy to make a bigger creature and force my opponent to answer it. Servant of the Conduit is a kind of like a mana rock. It is a 2/2 elf druid. When this enters the battlefield, I get 2 energy, and then I can pay 1 energy to add 1 mana of any color. And then Voltaic Brawler, which is a 3/2 human warrior. When this enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. And then when Voltaic Brawler attacks, you may pay 1. If you do, it gets +1/+1 and gains trample. So that could be a good like combat trick to make our creature bigger and then kill opposing blocking creatures. In the form of removal, we have Harness Lightning, a 4 of. Choose target creature, you get 3 energy, and then you may pay any amount of energy. Harness Lightning deals that much damage to that creature.
And my broken camera, yeah.
And we're back. And another one is Collision Colossus, specifically the collision side, which can help with opposing flyers. It does 6 damage to target creature with flying. But the most important side of this card, Hoshi getting all weird over there, is Colossus. So this is the combo. What we want to do is attack with Electrostatic Pummeler. Hopefully the opponent doesn't block. But if they do, it's like, oh, it's a 1/1. Then we just dump out all these spells that pump up our creature. And we want to make sure that we do this before damage goes through. Because Electrostatic Pummeler gets +X/+X, where X is its power. So we want its base power to be as high as we can before we start dumping all the energy into it. So, for example, if we just had like 1 Colossus and we dumped it into it, well, now has a power of 5. And if we have, let's say, 9 energy, well, then it becomes a 10/10, then a 20/20, then a 40/40, swinging in with trample. And then usually that's game right there. Invigorated Rampage is another form of giving a target creature +4/+0 and trample until end of turn. And then I also have, where is it at? Built to Smash, which is a 1 mana instant. Target attacking creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. If it's an artifact creature, it also gains trample until end of turn. So that's the deck. Oh, I guess like the Aether Hubs as the land base, they're uncommons, and they also give me energy when they enter the battlefield. So Hoshi, what do you think about this deck?
I think this deck's super cool. It's just one of the decks that really highlights what makes Magic, where you can just do these weird things, or you just turn a 1/1 into like a 40/40 and kill somebody, which is always getting killed by something like that is always like, nani, what what just happened, like out of nowhere. So I mean, that's awesome. I think that, I mean, it's a glass cannon, obviously. You got to throw all your stuff into this one. Like, it'd be so disheartening to just get this killed by like, a black removal spell. You're like, after I did all that. I think this deck's great. I think for beginners, it's not probably the best deck that I would go with at first, because I think the skill level is a little high on this deck. I think you really have to make good choices when you're doing this and when you're swinging in and attacking, and you have to like really analyze your opponent very well. So I think this takes a little bit more of a sophisticated player to pilot this deck well. But I mean, for the good thing about it is if you are a player like that and you still have a bunch of cards, you can easily make this deck, right? Yeah. So you don't need to be like a brand new player to do this. You know, you could be somebody who's got a decent card pool and just be like, hey, I'll just, you know, drop 4 wilds on Electrostatic Pummeler, and then boom, I have this deck, you know, and I can play around with it. So yeah, it's super cool. I like it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you in the sense that I would say definitely it's more on the fringe of being intermediate with its like combat tricks and stuff. Definitely not like an advanced deck, but definitely if you're trying to like bridge out of becoming a beginner and getting more into the complexities of like combat tricks and stuff. Yeah, I can see that for sure. Drunken, do you have any comments on this deck?
Yeah, it looks like a draft deck on crack, man. Like you know, like there's so many like fucking tricks in there, right? Like, you know, like with fucking all these instant spell pumps, you know, like you don't really see those in constructed often, like almost never. And I love it. I think it looks awesome. Like having looked at this deck, I really like it. I'm probably gonna build it after. I'm actually probably gonna build both the decks after, because like, hey, it's only a handful of. I probably have all the uncommons, and I may even have all the rare cards. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, why not?
And so, yeah, it looks really fun. I do agree. Yeah, this you definitely have to analyze your opponent. I think a little bit better maybe with this one than me and Hoshi's. But yeah, it looks like a blast. It's really good for best of one, because like having a glass cannon is fine if you don't go into a game 2 or game 3, because then they already know what the fuck you're trying to do. The best thing about this deck is like I'm sure when I played Apollo, I had never seen this before. So like I was just like, what is going on? Oh shit, you got a 58, what the fuck? And so, you know, like, dead. And then, of course, I was dead with trample. Yeah, there's no way I was getting around that. And so I was like, I'm going to block with my 0-2. This will do nothing, you know. But yeah, then he fucking did all these combat tricks, and there you go. So yeah, I think it's cool. It's like, it's the coolest looking draft deck I have ever seen. Not in a bad way. I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, none taken. Yeah. I mean, it's a Kaladesh deck, right? Like, it's pretty much all Kaladesh. I mean, it utilizes energy.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 decks. We have Gruul Electrostatic Pummeler. We have Azorius Spirits, or would you say it's Flyers mostly?
Just
or is
Flyers,
it
yeah.
Flyers.
Spirits would be the upgrade to the deck, I think.
And mono white auras, correct?
Yeah, mono white auras, that works, yeah.
Or enchantments also. Yeah, either way, those are the 3 decks. They're all like spec'd for best of 1, and be sure to check out our YouTube if you're tuning in. Be sure to look up the Mana Dorks, and in the description we'll have a updated deck list via Aether Hub for a more competitive version for all 3 of these decks. So, moving on, after our main phase, we go into our combat step. And this is where, so something that I've kind of been noticing in the analytics, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but definitely as like a best of 3 player, especially going into Diamond, this is for sure a turn 3, turn 4 format. Probably more on the turn 4 end. This is an extremely fast format. It is definitely approaching the levels of things that we have seen in Pioneer, Modern, Legacy. Definitely not on the Vintage level. That is like overpowered. Yeah. But Legacy, Modern, Pioneer have this like kind of like turn 2, turn 3 format, turn 3, turn 4 format, and maybe Pioneer is like a turn 4 solid, possibly turn 5 format, and then Historic is kind of thrown up in there. So this is something that we wanted to talk about. Like, where would we like to see or foresee the future of this beloved Historic format? Because Wizards of the Coast can very easily add an anthology set and then put this over the top You know what I mean? Or they could take cards out. I mean, they could do whatever they want. It's like a digital format. So, or they can add like other cards to maybe not push it over the top, and it kind of just stays where it's at. So I want like the opinions of everyone, and we're just kind of like going to go round table over here. So I'm going to start it off with Hoshi. Where would you like the foreseeable future of the historic format?
I like where it's at right now, honestly. I would like to keep it at this power level. If anything, maybe take a step back. Like, I think turn 3 Muxus is a little much, being able to just kill somebody that quick. So I would like it to not be like just balls to the walls nuts, like turn 2, turn 3 kill format. I think that's too much. Because one of the great things about having like all these cards in your card pool is that you can make like weird, crazy decks, right? And then still be somewhat competitive with jank decks. Like if it becomes a turn 2, turn 3 format, like, I mean, that's not going to happen, right? You're just going to get slaughtered trying to use any type of like shenanigans type deck. And the fact that we are able to play these budget decks and still be good in this format, I think is great. So I like where it's at right now, and I'd like to keep it there.
All right. Drunken, what's your stance on where would you like to see the future of the historic format?
So Wizards has already stated that they're going all the way back to Pioneer, right? Like that is what it... I don't know if that's what Historic's going to be, but they are going that far back at least. And I like the idea of that. Like, I like the idea of Historic, pushing its way backwards. I personally would like them to stop where Pioneer is and then, like, have Historic be its own thing, because it already is its own thing with cards from Jumpstart and cards from Historic anthologies, because none of those are in Pioneer unless the ones that are in the sets that are in Pioneer. But besides that, none of the other ones are. Like, there is no turn 3 Muxus in Pioneer. You don't have that.
No.
And so I do think, like, going forward, like, as soon as we get all the way to Return to Ravnica, I think like it would be really cool if they continue to do different Jumpstart sets, if they continue to do, different anthologies and really just made it its own format, like it is right now, like kept it its own format. And actually I'd like them to do something really interesting, like maybe have like a monthly like fucking ban list or something, or unbanning, like almost like seasons or something, where like every month they have a new few cards that are banned or that are unbanned, and like just constantly changing it up. I think that would be so much fun, because I think like the most fun thing about Historic is that it is changing constantly. It's changing more than Standard, it is changing more than Pioneer, more than any other format, just because it's being introduced to all these cards so quickly. It is expensive, for sure, but it's also a lot of fun. I love the Wild West. Like, I love it every time like a new set comes out. I think it's the most fun, like going out there, fucking building decks, playing all these crazy ass builds that people are playing, seeing these cool interactions. I fucking love it. I want it to stay that way. Like, I think it'd be really cool if like going forward they just continue what they are doing.
Yeah, I completely agree with both of you guys. I do like the power level where it's at, and I am super stoked and excited for as they keep continuing back towards Return to Ravnica. The anthology sets are awesome. They shake up the format so fucking much, like every single time, and it's not like where it like resets the meta. I mean, it kind of does. I mean, like the usual suspects are usually there, and they gain like a few cards, like Fatal Push or something like that, in the form of Sultai midrange. But at the same time, it's like the Wild West again. Like you're brewing, you're making. It is an expensive format. It is like, but you're brewing so many cool decks. Like just in Kaladesh alone, I have made so many different styles of decks and have ideas for decks on the back queue. My back queue is like, the list is getting so long at this point, trying to break like Aetherworks Marvel, trying to break Aetherflux Reservoir. How does that affect the Historic Brawl format? I get my mind like thinking with one of my favorite like Historic Brawl commanders. I forget her name. The Pirate Captain, Weatherlight
Oh,
Captain,
yeah,
Joyra.
Captain,
Yeah.
Joyra, yeah.
Joyra, yeah, like I love that deck so much. I've been wanting to build it in Commander, and like I feel like it's getting closer. But on the flip side, as you add more powerful cards and making it more unique via the anthology sets, you create a problem. You need to also have that rock, paper, scissor. And I think going forward, what Wizards needs to do is they've already said like they're doing some like time spiral stuff. I think they need to utilize that and add cards that answer problematic cards, if that makes sense. In a previous episode, we talked about premium one drop removal in the form of Path to Exile. Now, I'm not saying they should add Path to Exile, but they should definitely like analyze the meta, and we need a control deck. Like we do. We need Esper control. We need Azorius control. Like we have to have control to like calm down these like really powerful mid-range strategies, you know. They're not dominating, but you just need to have it. You have to have like that rock paper scissors. All right, sorry about that, everyone. We're having some technical difficulties over here. Hoshi, you know, aside from the hurricanes destroying the state of Florida, as we said, you know, he just moved into his new house, so he's in the process of moving. So he had to like literally last minute move his studio into his girlfriend's place. So, you know, cameras and stuff like that. We're trying for this episode. Sorry, thank you for sticking with us.
Yeah, I shouldn't be doing this, but you know, I'm a lunatic workaholic, so here I am, still trying.
No, it's better to have you on, brother. It's better to have you on than not have you. So,
I like
so yeah, no, absolutely. Hey, we love having you, buddy. So, as I was saying, I would hope like with these like time spiral formats that Wizards needs to like analyze the meta. Like R&D, you need to do something. Like you really need to like kind of pay attention here. And like I said, I'm not saying necessarily add Path to Exile, but you need to have control be a prominent deck, whether it's like Sultai control, Esper control, Grixis control, Mardu control, Jeskai control, all the usual players, they're just not there. Usually we always see Azorius control or Esper usually being the top control decks, and we don't even have that. So I think going forward, they need to pay attention to that as the format develops and gets very powerful. In order for it to not go to a turn 3 format like Modern, right? They need to add cards so that way it stays around turn 4, turn 5. Does that make sense? Hoshi, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, I don't want it to be that at all. I like it being at the current power level that it's at. I think it's great where it is, where it's allowed to flourish with many other decks. And if they, so control is one way of curbing that. So that could help out. But I mean, I agree with DrunkenDork too, where I love the new sets coming in too. But I also think that maybe if they do want to do like a Pioneer turn 2, turn 3 format, maybe make a new format for that and then keep Historic kind of where they can, you know, throw that ban hammer down maybe a little bit more liberally, you know, to keep the format at like the current power level that it's at. So I mean, yeah, that'd be cool.
That's a good point. And they've actually already done that pseudo, right? Mm-hmm. Like they have banned cards, like they just straight up just won't let cards into the remastered formats, right? Mm-hmm. So we've kind of seen that happen.
Yeah,
that
that's true.
There's now like cards that are in Pioneer or banned in Pioneer, but they're not in Historic at all, so they don't create that problem. And they X out a bunch of cards from the sets.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Jumpstart, right? Like in Jumpstart, there are a bunch of cards in there that are in the paper that they didn't put in Arena just for the sake that all cards in Jumpstart are legal in Arena. So
Path to Exile is one of those, I believe.
Path, Lightning Strike, or Lightning Bolt,
Yeah. DrunkenDork, is there anything you want to add according to like what I said, or like time spiral in general, or any other thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great idea, and I think Hoshi touched on basically what I was trying to say is like, I do want Historic to be different than Pioneer. Yeah, they are going back to Pioneer, but I want Historic to stay Historic. Right, that is my main thing. I want it to be its own format. I actually do want it to be faster than Pioneer, but I know I am on my own with that one. I think with with all these introductions of other cards, I think eventually it's just going to be there. Like I think that is going to be the fast format of Arena. It is going to be like the legacy of Arena. But I don't know. Time will tell.
I don't have the source pulled up with me right now, but I did actually read an article from a credible Magic Pro, and he stated that Historic is actually now faster than Pioneer, saying like where Pioneer is like turn 4, turn 5, they're doing the things. Historic is like pretty consistently turn 4,
3, 4,
like solid turn 4. There's potential for turn 3. There's, if you don't get the Lana War Elves, it could be turn 5, but it's pretty consistently turn 4. And I would have to agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely in best of 1. I think it's like so powerful in best of 1 for sure, that it's a turn 4 format.
Yeah.
Being that you are a predominant best of 1 player, do you have any comments with that, Hoshi?
No. I mean, I don't play Pioneer, so I don't know.
No, I mean in Historic.
Right, oh, yeah. In Historic, it's definitely solid turn 4. If they got their right hand, So, I mean, there's things you can do to disrupt that. But, yeah. He's a pro, so he knows what he's talking about, obviously. It's a very powerful format, and it feels like that when you're playing, especially when you're playing ranked, with all the try-hard decks. You really feel like, oh, wow, hey.
Yeah.
These are some crazy strong decks, It's if you make, like you were saying earlier, if you make one mistake, especially if you're on the draw, this format feels more like, hey, if you're on the draw, you better have laser eyes on the screen. If you mess up one thing, that's it. Game's over.
Agreed.
Yeah. Any final thoughts from either of you guys?
No.
Keep it the same.
So that is our main phase. Our combat. What'd you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. How do you feel about the Historic format as a whole? Is it a turn 4 format? Do you feel that it's more powerful than Pioneer at this current state of the meta? Or is Pioneer still the more superior format? So let us know in the comments below. And we would love from here, you guys. And if you haven't subscribed and clicked that bell notification, we really appreciate it. And after our combat is always followed by our main phase 2. And I'm going to turn it over to DrunkenDork, and he's going to tell us what we're going to do.
All right, everybody. So this is the horseshit card game. But today I am doing something a little different. All right. Are you two ready for this? So what the horseshit card game is where I name 4 cards, and one of the cards is fake, and it's up to these 2 drunken idiots to decide which one of those cards is fake. But this week, I have done something different where I normally have cards already laid out. I have my fake card laid out, but I don't have my other ones laid out because I got my pre-order of Commander Legends. So what I'm going to do is I am going to open a pack, and then I'm going to name 3 cards from the pack, and then I'm going to have my fake card. All right? And it's going to be up to you 2 drunken idiots to figure out which one of these cards is fake.
Oh, dude, I dig it. This is fun. This is flavorful.
All right.
I like it. I'm scared.
For those
who haven't looked at the set enough.
Yeah, I figured, y'all been busy. So, what better way to do this? I think, if this works out well, I think I'm going to start doing this going forward. And it just gives me a reason to fucking buy packs,
Justification for your for your obsession. Yeah.
All right. That one looks good. All right.
Nice.
The only problem is, it is a little bit slower doing it this way, but I think in the end it's going to be a little bit more fun.
That's fine.
And then I'll show you guys my rare when I, afterwards.
Oh man. it's probably hard to read with your rock hard erection right now too after opening the box of Commander Legends. That's I'm pretty jelly right now actually.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to order one. I really wanted to. It looks like a great set. It's definitely changing. Oh, by the way, while you're looking through those, you guys were on a podcast last week, which was pretty cool.
We'll have to talk about that in the end step. Yeah. Yes, we were.
Yeah.
I completely forgot, and I'm glad that you reminded us.
All right. I listened to it.
So I'm going to start. I picked out my 4 cards. Are you two ready?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. So the first one is Wild Size. It is 2 and a green. It is an instant, and it is at common. Hey, and you'll never guess what set it's from. It's from Commander Legends. All right.
No way.
Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn. Draw a card. All right. That's the first one.
Solid.
The second one is Sifter Worm. 5 green. It is a creature worm at uncommon. It has trample. When Sifter Worm enters the battlefield, scry 3, then reveal the top card of your library. You gain life equal to that card's converted mana cost. And it is a 7/7. Third one is Shifty Cutthroat. It is 3 and a black. It is a creature human pirate at uncommon. And it has Dethrone. Do you guys know what Dethrone is?
Is that where they're not the monarch anymore?
No.
No, if it like attacks alone or something like that.
Whenever this creature attacks the player with the most life or tied for the most life, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Okay. And then it says, whenever Shifty Cutthroat deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card, and it is a 3/2. All right. The final one, Ripscale Predator, 4 red. It is a creature dinosaur at common. And it has menace.
That's it.
That's it.
All right.
So I am going to start it off with Apollo this week. Which one is horseshit, Apollo?
All right. So could you repeat the first one again?
Wild Size. 2 and a green. Instant. At common. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn. Draw a card.
And the last one is a 4-drop dinosaur that has menace?
4 red.
For a 4/4 with menace?
For a 6/5 with menace.
Ooh, big boy.
It is a big boy. I'm gonna say that one. That one's horseshit.
All right. Ripscale Predator. Horseshit card. What do you got to say, Hoshi?
Oh, man. I'm in between the Dethrone one because I think you're trying to get fancy with mechanics. But the 7/7 or whatever one that comes in and scries 3 and all that sounds ridiculous, too. Man.
So there is a Shifty Cutthroat or Sifter Worm.
Yeah, the Sifter Worm sounds like nonsense as well. Oh, man. I'm going to go with the Cutthroat. I think you're trying to be spicy. I'm going with Cutthroat.
All right. So Hoshi with Shifty Cutthroat and Apollo with Ripscale Predator. Well, boys, someone won this week. And that person is Hoshi.
Yes, I knew it.
Yeah.
Fucking do it.
They actually Dethrone isn't in this set. They did have some things from in this set that were from what was this? I forget what set.
The
Dethrone.
Monarch thing.
Yeah, the Monarch set.
Yeah.
But that one was not in this set. So yeah, good job. Yeah, I tried to get fancy with it, and it didn't pay off in the end. And let me see. Let me show you guys my rare card, which
let's see
I think is actually a really good one.
You should just rip it.
Nope.
Rip it in half.
Arkellis Lagoon Mystic. So this is the turtle mystic guy. Where
nice.
yeah. That card looks cool. I like that card.
Yeah, it's super powerful. It's like it actually has infinite combos attached to it.
Nice.
A little shout out to the Star City Games. Justin Parnell does like the a commander series like through via Spell Table, and Lady Danger actually used that as her commander.
Nice.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, it's a really cool video. It's one of their recent videos from via Star City Games. So if Commander is your guys' thing, be sure to check it out. And she uses that Commander. Some turtle power, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Real cool.
Yeah, sweet, dude. I'm gonna make my TMNT deck.
So happy right
nice. So that was our main phase 2. What'd you think? Let us know in the comments below. This is getting a little ridiculous at this point.
Dear diary,
Have you ever been
it
one
happened
game once,
again.
Apollo?
Dude, I've only won when Hoshi was like not on. Like that was like my rise to fame, dude. Like my fucking
man.
moment in the sunlight, dude.
It's
I have
because
so many
Tom Cruise
diaries.
does not smile upon you.
Dude, I have so many diaries. They're just filled out. They're just like it's just all it is just one post. Like I write one day and I write how like horribly painfully sad I am that I lose this game constantly. It breaks my heart, dude. So let us know in the comments below. Did you guys guess the right card, or are you as dumb as I am? I should have known that. Dethrone's not in there. Dethrone's not in there. I knew this shit, man. Like, fuck. Fucking bullshit, dude. Goodness gracious.
Oh,
All
I
right.
love it.
Well, after our main phase 2, the salt is real, dude. I am having a sea salt dinner with a side of salty tea. After our main phase 2, we go into our end step, and that's just other shit we have been doing this week. So I'm going to turn it over to this week's fucking winner, Mr. fucking Hosh. What have you been doing this week?
I've been moving, dude. Like I said, bought the house. I've just been packing stuff up and moving it over. I'm super excited, but at the same time, I'm also like super like so much stress because I didn't take any time off work because I can't. I'm like teaching right now, so I have a class, so I couldn't get anyone to cover anything. So I've been like, and I'm moving out of my house. Like I put my my time out to like get out of my house, and then I thought I was gonna close, and it didn't happen for like another 2 weeks. So I have like a week to get out of my house and clean everything up and everything. So like I had a call with my doctor the other day, and she was like, so like, how's everything, and I was like, yeah, I told her about all the other stuff, and I was like, yeah, but I've been like having these thumps in my chest, and she's like, do you drink a lot of coffee? I was like, yeah, I drink. I mean, but that's normal. I always drink a lot of coffee. And she's like, are you under any stress? And I was like, yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
She's like that's what it is. I was like, oh, okay, good. So I'm not dying. I'm not having a heart attack. And she's like,
Well,
I
that's
mean,
good.
maybe. Yeah. She's like, well, maybe.
Yeah.
No, she was like, no, you're fine. So yeah. So I'm moving and I might die. So that's what's going on with me.
Okay. Weird. This took a dark turn. You just won.
Yeah.
You just won main phase 2,
but,
dude.
but I did win, so I can die happy at least.
Okay.
fair.
All
That's
right.
fair.
Yeah.
DrunkenDork, what about you? What have you been doing this week?
This week I got my Xbox Series X in the mail, and
Jelly.
yeah, and it is super sweet.
Nice.
This is ridiculous. The only thing I have been playing, I got a brand new console, and the only thing I've been playing on it is fucking Tetris. All right. But no, there's this game. There's this new version, not new, relatively new.
It's
It's like
Effect.
yeah, Tetris Effect.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, dude.
Dope.
I love puzzle games. Like, I always go back and play Luminous. I don't know if you guys ever played that, but I fucking love it because the music's amazing and like the puzzle matching is like really good in it. And this reminds me of Luminous in that way, but it's still Tetris.
Yeah.
It's so good. My wife and I have been playing it, and she is a lot better than I am. She's actually really good at Tetris, which is great because there are some fucking hard ass levels, and she's like, Psh, I got this, bitch. And so yeah, she just like shows me what's up. So I've been doing that. I randomly got a PS4 today. I just went on the PlayStation PlayStation 5, I mean. I went on like the PlayStation.
Just randomly got one?
Well, I went on the PlayStation. Hear me out. I went on the PlayStation website. I was like,
here.
I wonder if they're selling them right now. And it's like, you're in an hour and a half queue. I was like, I'm in an hour and a half queue for what? And so they're like, I waited in the queue, and it's like, the PlayStations are probably going to be sold out. And then it was like, you're in like, not even 5 minutes later, it's like, you're in a 30-minute queue. I was like, okay. So I'm in a 30-minute queue. And then like 10 minutes after that, it's like, you're about to go to the PlayStation store. Do you still want to go? I was like, yeah. So I went in, and then it was like, boom, do you want to buy a PlayStation 5? I was like, yeah, why not? Fuck, dude, they're selling them for like $1,500 right now. I was like, okay. So I went and I got it. Like, I really surprised me. I got the digital edition, the $400 one.
Because I don't. Okay. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I don't need discs. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I didn't want the disc version anyway.
Yeah, that's an awesome version of it for sure, dude.
Yeah, so I got that. That's another thing that happened. And then finally, like Hoshi said, me and Apollo were on a podcast, so I got to do this past week, and it was with the
Cryptic Commander.
Cryptic Commander, yeah.
Yeah, and those guys are really nice. It was really fun. I really appreciate being on their podcast. If you haven't listened to their podcast, they're great guys. Actually, we didn't get to talk to the actual host, but Matt,
the original one,
yeah, the original one. But Matt, the guy who was hosting, was great. He was very nice, very good to talk to. Isaac was cool too. It was a really fun time. I had a blast doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. Matt and Isaac were really cool. I would have loved to have met John, and I hope on future episodes we can all get featured again. We'll definitely link the description, or link to their podcast in the description below. And if you're listening on wherever you get your podcasts, they also have a Spotify, so we'll link that as well. But please check out our YouTube so you can listen, because these guys are awesome. It's a really cool podcast. We talk about like MTG finances and like just what we think about Commander as a whole. They have a really cool like rotating like format, or how they do like their show. So be sure to check them out. They're really cool guys. It was a lot of fun to be on there. And hopefully if you guys are listening in, we can get you guys on our show. And have you guys come in for an episode. We would love to have John and Matt come in, or if Isaac, if you're down as well, we can talk some Commander. And if that's something you guys would like to see, we would also love it in the comments below. Give a thumbs up if that's your thing. As for myself, all I've been doing, aside from being on that podcast, not really too much else. Just trying to like finalize everything with the Air Force. I'm getting like real close, man. I'm like right on the cusp. You know what I mean? I've locked in my ASVAB score. I took like all my final testing and stuff like that. All I have left is MEPS, and then I swear in. So just waiting on a couple of things from my recruiter, which I hope I hear from in a couple of days. And also, I've been like slacking on this. I know it's like about this week, but man, have you guys seen The Mandalorian? Like, I have not seen episode 3.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's so good. It's so good.
Dude, I mean, I'm moving. I have a lot of stuff going on, but I'm not fucking insane.
Fuck, dude, get your shit together, dude.
Get your shit together. Get it.
I need it. I need it together. I mean, I have a TV right fucking together, there, dude. Like, I could put it on. Yeah. Like, it could be playing right now in the background. And, you know? Yeah,
dude,
no, I definitely need
You've
to
watched
see
the Clone Wars, right? You've seen Clone Wars.
Yeah, of course, dude.
Oh, my God. I should fucking smack you then.
Yeah.
You're about to just, like, come in your pants, like, in this, when you see the third episode. It's so good. So many Easter eggs. So many Easters, dude.
Oh, it's Easter again?
Yeah, it is Easter.
Love it.
It's Easter every episode with The Mandalorian.
I dig it. So that is our end step. And then we're going to go into our cleanup. But please make sure, because I can't stress this enough, please check out the Cryptic Commander, because these guys were really awesome. And I can't stress that enough, how cool these guys were to have us come on their show, because they're a lot more relevant than we are. So we're really cool of them. And with
I wish
that
I
being
could have been
said,
there.
yeah, we missed you, buddy. It would have been cool. It was
Next
cool.
time.
Literally closing on that day. But hey, I mean, hopefully next time, if they mentioned having us back, so hopefully I can make it that time. Or if anyone else has out there has any other suggestions for people that want to be on our podcast or who they would like to see, let us know.
So I'm going to kind of just blast through social media promo. I mean, it's the same things that we already talked about. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all at the Mana Dorks. We're trying to make sure that the Mana Rant is also a searchable term, so that way you can find us quite relatively easy. You can also listen to us on wherever you get your podcasts. That's iTunes, Radio, Spotify, Alexa, Google, the whole nine. So you can find us all there. But a couple of things before we get into our discard, where we finish everything that we've been drinking. Streaming. I think that we should open boxes while we stream, huh? Maybe all three of us can open boxes. We can buy a box each together and open it up on stream. And if that's something you guys are interested into, let us know in the comments below. We would love to do some or hear some cool ideas for future streams. And then with that being...
Justify us opening boxes.
Yeah, I'm about it. I'm always up for opening cards.
I know you are.
Hey, by the way, I somehow missed this. This was in the pack. So Reshape the Earth is a mythic, and it's the one where you search your library for up to 10 land cards, put them onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. That came in the pack,
that
too,
card's
I guess.
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how I didn't see that, but yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sweet.
Yeah, sweet pack.
Awesome first pack, dude.
Yeah.
Land matters. Yeah. Like it.
Well, that is the episode, ladies and gents. Thank you for tuning in for episode 17 of the Mana Rant. We are the Mana Dorks. We'll see you next time.
See y'all.
Cheers. Ladies.
Thumbs up.
Now that's a chunk of beer.
Oh, Jesus. That was a lot this time, dude. Not digging it.
Yeah, you had like a full beer, dude.
Yeah, that was not smart.